come on in. I hope you are having a beautiful week so far. Get your tea, get your popcorn, get your drinks, get comfortable. We're about to get into some things. We're going to get a little messy over here because we get a little bit messy over here, and you're going to get Aries energy in every review. So, one of the things that I absolutely love to do is go to the movies. I like to watch a lot of movies, a lot of different types of movies. In particular, horror films are like my favorite. And I will be doing a review on Weapons. That is the latest movie that is coming out here soon. But today I want to talk about the Fantastic Four. This franchise just seems to truly struggle with getting off the ground and finding a real cast and a footing that gets it to have the same type of oomph and the same type of interest like the Avengers or the X-Men or Guardians of the Galaxy. You kind of can name your pick here. There's been some others that have had more of a success than the Fantastic Four seems to find. Even when they've rebooted with different casts, it still seems to not be able to really find an audience that gravitates towards it or really takes the film and just kind of skyrockets it. So we got to talk about what's going on with this latest one that came out here in 2025. I want to give my thoughts on the movie, and we got to talk about this huge drop that it saw in its box office after the first weekend. Before we get into that, welcome to Aries Rose TV. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and on this channel we talk about streaming shows, movies, TV shows, world news, local news, celebrity news, politics. Basically, anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. So if you like talking a little bit about everything, this is the perfect channel for you. Hit that subscription button. It's free to join. We'd love to have you part of the Aries crew. And when you subscribe when you're on the live, make sure you leave that in the comments. I want to personally welcome you to the Aries crew. If you've been on a live before, you know the drill. Let me know if you are a returning Aries crew member by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments. If you're a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your evening, day, or afternoon here. So let's get into the movie. So I went and checked out Fantastic Four this couple weekends ago, and I have some thoughts on the movie that I want to come on and share. So I want to do more movie reviews on here because it is another thing I absolutely enjoy, and I want to incorporate that in here more to talk about whether or not a movie is worth going to see, kind of my thoughts on it, what I thought was good, what they could have improved on. Before we get into that, let's give a couple shout outs here in the comments. Stardino 1595, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Indio artist, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We have a leaderboard here on the live, so run up those comments and questions. We will give you a shout out here on the live. And on the communities tab here on YouTube, you can post questions. We can have discussion items on there. All you have to do is be a subscriber on the channel. So if you are on the channel as a subscriber, check out the communities tab. I post on there pretty regularly. Who do I think is the best character out of the Fantastic Four? Let's talk about that. So first off here, let's get a description of what this new Fantastic Four movie is about. So this is the latest one to come out from Marvel, and there's been like 3 or 4 other groups of this for the Fantastic Four, and this is the latest one. And so this one is forced to balance their roles as heroes from the strength of their family bond. Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic Herald Silver Surfer. And that's from IMDb. So first off, I did really like the style that the movie was shot in. I like that 60s futuristic look. So I really thought that that fit the vibe very well, and it kind of had a Tomorrowland kind of feel to it, like it was what they thought the future would be a long time ago, how they thought that would look. And I like that. I think that that kind of space 60s 70s vibe looks really cool to me. I like that color blue. I thought that worked. I like the way they played that throughout the movie. I liked their suits. That was a really nice touch to it. So for me, the style it was shot in and the style that they had in the movie, I thought was great. The colors really popped. It had a vibrancy to it. The character I liked the least, just of how they looked, was the Rock character. I felt like their head wasn't proportionate to their body, so having a smaller head compared to the body was really throwing it off. I like the way they did the Rock character when it was the movies with Jessica Alba in them. And I think it was Ben Chicklets is his name. I might be wrong on the first name, but I'm pretty sure the last name is Chicklets that played this character. I thought the way they had did him as the Rock person was the perfect look for that. But this one didn't quite get it. And to me, the way the character was didn't fit. Kind of had a different vibe than I had seen before. And it didn't work for me so much. But I don't know if that's true to how they are in the comics or not. So that's just my opinion on that. So that kind of threw me out of it a little bit because I thought, okay, the way you made this character doesn't fit the way I'm thinking that this character would be, and then the look was kind of throwing it off altogether. So that definitely made this one my least favorite character. And I wasn't a huge fan of who they cast as Johnny Storm. Maybe I'm more stuck in the Chris Evans version of it, but this particular person, not that they were bad, they just didn't fit it for me. So it was a little bit more challenging to get into them in that role. These two, I was okay with Richard Reed, who they cast for that. That was fine, kind of fit visually what I would have expected. And I was also okay with who they cast for Sue. So those two were fine. These two, I felt like they needed some work. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought. If there were any characters you thought like the casting was perfect, or maybe they could have made some changes to it. The storyline overall wasn't the strongest. It wasn't the worst. It by far wasn't the worst Marvel movie that I ever seen, but it wasn't the best either. I wasn't incredibly impressed by the acting. They had some chemistry there, for sure. I would say Richard Reed and Storm had good chemistry, and he did have some good chemistry with Sue as well. But overall, not necessarily gelled like I wanted to see. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, once they all came together, you felt like, okay, that's a believable team. This one, not so much to me, but it worked. It didn't totally throw off the movie, but I think it also could have made the movie better if they just appeared like they gelled a little bit better. The story wasn't as great as I think they could have done with the movie. I feel like if you're going to reboot it, you have to really put some care into the Fantastic Four. And the story itself was a pretty basic kind of concept that we've seen in the Marvel movies. It didn't blow me away. The Silver Surfer was pretty cool. I liked the way that she was designed, and I thought, the graphics were really cool. There were some great action scenes that included the Silver Surfer, but it didn't that particular character didn't really bring a whole lot to the movie, to be honest with you. They were just kind of like a side character. Maybe it was a throwback to previous movies, like there was a Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer, and I'm sure it's a popular character because I think it's really cool. I just don't like the way that the surfer was used in the movie. They were just kind of an accomplice. They weren't really the center of it, and I just thought they could have maybe done a better job with incorporating them in or using them differently to make it more interesting. Otherwise, it was kind of like, why are they there? They didn't really need to be there one way or another to me to propel the story forward. They just weren't as interesting of a character as I would have liked to see with having the Silver Surfer there. And it looks like fans are kind of feeling that this movie was meh as well because it had a drop off in the box office that was pretty steep. And that's not what any studio likes, because that is nowadays with how much it costs to make these movies. it's, your goal is always to make some money back, and you want word of mouth and the fan experience, the audience experience, to be so great that people are coming back talking about it, and it kind of propels the movie to keep going beyond the opening weekend curiosity. Well, that does not look like that was the case here, because it dropped 66% by its second weekend, which is a pretty big drop off here. And let's take a few moments for some comments here. We got Colt 45, welcome, and Mirich from Poland. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Anna, no, I did not voice any characters in anything other than my own self in life. And Trickshot 212, the old one was way better. I could not agree more. Jessica Alba, myself, I think those were the best. And if they just would have stopped there, I would have been cool with that. But what they're doing now, it's just more of the same, and it's not propelling it forward where it's going to make it an interesting franchise that's going to be building to go and do more. I just think they're making it more of a joke. Like, it's just harder to get into these characters and take them seriously and get invested in them. Maybe as a TV show, but I think what they did with it as a movie just didn't do it justice, especially for waiting so long to do another one. I just felt like they could have gone in a whole different direction with this one that would have made it more interesting. Let's see on Screen Rant here, screenrant.com. We got an article here. Disney CEO addresses Fantastic Four first steps after recent box office slump. So let's see what they have to say about that. Bob Iger, who is running things over at Disney, responds to the Fantastic Four First Steps having a big drop at the box office during its second week. The final Marvel Cinematic Universe movie for 2025 marked the beginning of Marvel's first family joining the beloved franchise, as the Fantastic Four First Steps also kicked off Phase 6 for the Marvel Universe. Let me know if you knew we were in phase 6. I had no idea what phase we were in. Really, I stopped following so closely after Endgame Avengers, to be honest with you. And I've seen things that have come since, but that was when I was more dialed into what was going on after Endgame. The interest just kind of waned with each movie, because I don't think the quality with these movies have been quite as good as they were leading up to the Avengers Endgame and the Infinity War just before that. I think those movies and everything before that was when they were just hitting at all cylinders and really did their best work. After that, it felt like the quality dwindled with each movie. But let me know what you think if you were following the Marvel movies as well. Did you get that sense too, or have you enjoyed any of them since Avengers Endgame? And let's see here. Following the Fantastic Four First Steps ending, the Phase 6 film has been receiving a lot of positive reviews and good word of mouth as audiences are getting to experience the MCU take on the iconic heroes. However, the Fantastic Four First Steps arrived in one of 2025's most competitive months. So it sounds like they're trying to blame it on when the movie came out, as it is up against multiple big releases at the box office. During a Disney earnings call with Iger, the Disney CEO finally commented on the Fantastic Four First Steps, including how the film had a 66% drop during its second week at the box office. Iger made it clear that Disney is proud of what Marvel Studios accomplished with the Fantastic Four First Steps, as he shared the following. Let's see. This is a quote from Bob Iger. Quote, "The more we can find and develop original property, the better. Of course, we are developing original property under the 20th Century banner and under the Searchlight banner. And look, you could even argue that Marvel continues to mine its library for characters for original property. Even though, for instance, there have been Fantastic Four movies before, we kind of this one we did an original property in many respects because we're to people who are not familiar with them at all. The Fantastic Four First Steps successfully launched its important franchise into the Marvel Cinematic Universe." End quote. So it says at the time of the publication of this story, the movie itself is sitting at worldwide 371.9 million, and in the domestic market, it's collected 101.6 million. So nothing to sneeze at, but not probably as well as they would want it to do. So if the word of mouth is so great and it's testing so well with audiences, that's a pretty big drop. So there's a discrepancy, because if it's doing that great and people are speaking that highly of it, why aren't more people going out to see it? I just don't know that because other movies are out, that's keeping people from going to see a good movie. Like, you'll fit that in, or you may go see more than one movie if you're getting that much good press. That's how I see it. Let's see if we can see. All right, so whether or not Fantastic Four First Steps will break even remains to be seen, but the Phase 6 installment will most likely emerge as the MCU's highest grossing film in 2025, because they also had the Captain America Brave New World that came out. Let me know if you saw that in the comments. Leave Brave New World if you watched that one. And if you did see it, let me know. Did you like that? Did you like the new Captain America? What did you think of that movie? And I think there was some other ones that came out as well. Let me go look up what the other ones were. But if Fantastic Four is going to be the highest grossing one, that's not saying much, especially since it had a pretty big drop. So hopefully after their return in the new Avengers movie, so they're supposed to be coming in the new Avengers movie, there's going to be a crossover with the Fantastic Four there. So it looks like they're invested in keeping these characters going. It will expand their following worldwide for phase 7 and beyond. So looks like they are planning on moving forward with this franchise. So let me know, did you go see the Fantastic Four movie that recently came out here? And what did you think of it? If you did go and see it, let's check out another perspective on this drop for the movie. All right, this is from Polygon.com. And Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps took a tumble at the box office in its second weekend with a headline grabbing 66% drop for soft. That's becoming that that's become something of a refrain for Marvel, which saw similarly disappointing theatrical returns for the Thunderbolts. I forgot Thunderbolts came out this year. Oh, that's terrible. That's how in and out of the mind that movie was. And that was a pretty decent movie. I actually did enjoy that one. I'm surprised that didn't do better. And then Captain America Brave New World. And this is the third one. And let's see. It's saying that this had a similar drop off like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was terrible. That was one of the worst Ant-Man movies by far. So I am not surprised that one dropped off. That movie was awful. And Thor: Love and Thunder. So this one is right up there with those two movies, which I don't hold I don't hold those as Marvel's best movies there. So I'm not surprised. I think that's a pretty apt comparison. And Superman is apparently holding on pretty strong here at the theater, so it's still edged out Fantastic Four, although Superman came out before. So it could be a matter of timing of when this movie came out. The story wasn't the worst, but it definitely could have been better. I think Marvel needs to just take more time with their movies and their characters and put more effort into the script and give people a movie that they really want to see, not just one where it kind of seems like they're phoning it in. And I think the chemistry amongst the cast is really important, especially if they're going to be characters that we'll be seeing throughout the other movies where they may be interfacing with other Marvel characters or in other Marvel universes. And so that means we're going to be invested in them. And I want to just see some more care put into the Fantastic Four and definitely give them the movie that they deserve because it's just, I feel like they haven't been given the energy and the real strong script that they need to really break out and create their own identity. So, as far as I'm concerned, still the better ones are the ones that starred Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and that whole crew from the early 2000s. If you want to go see a Fantastic Four movie, that's the one I recommend. This one isn't the worst though, so definitely great to go catch on a matinee on a weekend or a Tuesday. If your theaters do discount Tuesday, that to me would be the time to catch this movie. Or you can wait for it to come out on streaming on Disney Plus, the way these things are turning over so fast in the theaters. But if you had a chance to see the Fantastic Four that came out in 2025, let me know what you think. If there is a character or scene you really enjoyed, or if you feel like they just didn't get me with this one, they could have done a better job. Let me know all your thoughts here. I absolutely enjoy hearing from the Aries crew. We are going to do a review on Weapons. It's the latest movie that's going to be coming out here. I thought that was pretty good, a psychological thriller. So definitely want to talk about that. Going to try to do a spoiler-free review because I feel like that's a movie that you really got to go in knowing nothing and just watch it unfold on the screen here. We're going to be back live on Saturday. So tomorrow night, we're probably not going to do a live or it'll be super late, but we will be back on the weekend so we can try and get back on track. But otherwise, we try to go live every weeknight here, talk about trending topics. I'm going to add in more movie reviews as well. Because like I say, I really enjoy going to the movies. So I want to add that aspect onto the channel. If you've been on the live this long, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead, hit that subscription button and join the Aries crew. It's free to join, and we'd love to have you over here. We have a good time here. Share this live out with family and friends. It helps the channel to grow as you come in. Please like the live. It goes a long way and it means a lot. Helps us get out in this YouTube algorithm to reach some more people. Appreciate you watching. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, and we will see you this weekend.